All three of these heroes are very popular from their previous movies and shows, but the most popular, and the one that people would ask us about the most, was Goose.
The film's tagline is higher, further, faster, together, and they definitely weren't lying. The latest entry to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Nia DaCosta's The Marvels, a sequel to the Brie Larson-led Captain Marvel that was released back in 2019. A film that I wasn't fairly high on, but thought it was a decent enough entry to the franchise given the next film in its slate at the time. Fast forward to 2023, and Marvel Studios and company are essentially in panic mode. What was once a safe haven for superhero blockbusters has become a shell of its former self. And with the release of The Marvels, it only hammers that point in even more. It's not all bad though, because I really think DaCosta's effort here is a lot different than your average superhero movie. First and foremost, it looks very good. Not for a couple shots, not for half the film. It's consistently colorful and balanced, and the VFX looks very pristine. It's a low bar, but considering the state of the genre, it's a thumbs up for me. What's also one of the strongest aspects that they desperately needed to get right is the trio's chemistry. Anytime there was any buffer in between action set pieces, all three of them shine. Brie Larson actually has some bite in her performance. Tiana Paris is just a natural foil to the other two to give a sense of balance. And Iman Vellani is just great. She fits the vibe and the character very well. I'd probably even say she outshines her co-stars. Ultimately, it's one of the very few aspects that kept me interested throughout the film's story. A story that I must say has a terrible screenplay, and I cannot stress that enough. The first 30 minutes held the first act of the film. It just had straight bad pacing. I mean, wow, it was terrible. Something akin to Thor Love and Thunder, where you could literally see line by line story beats they need to meet in order to tell this junk of a story. And while it does get better in the next two acts, albeit ever so slightly, it needed a lot more time to smooth transitions between scenes, because it felt like it went by way too fast and felt way too clunky. And so it becomes very apparent that this movie was hacked and whacked together in post in order to save it, to the point where it feels like a television movie rather than a feature film, and it did not work at all. So, the film's saving graces are the trio, the visuals, and its very sleek and neat camera work and fight choreography. It's one of the rare times that Marvel knows that a camera has 9 degrees of freedom, and it results in very flashy and fluid fight scenes. Adding the switching caveat of the characters to it, and this film has a very different DNA than the movies of Marvel's past. It's a clear identity thanks to DaCosta, and it's something that every film needs. You know who doesn't have an identity? It's the villain, who is all but forgettable and plain as bread. She has a hammer, and her name starts with D, I think, and I just don't care and I didn't ask at all. And I don't know how, but they somehow made Miss Marvel's family more memorable than her. It might actually be because the writers, and that includes DaCosta herself, didn't give another look at the script whatsoever. This did not need a rewrite. This needed a completely different script, because I feel like everything else about the film was actually good, really good, and so it just comes off as wasted potential. There are so many good aspects here. It's just that the story is terrible. No other way around it. It's strange too, since I feel like this is a complete opposite of 2019's Captain Marvel, where that film's weaknesses are this film's strengths, and vice versa. And while the first film's story wasn't groundbreaking, it was a whole lot better than what was shown here. And knowing that this year is just continuing the Marvel Studios' downward spiral, they needed to get this right, and they didn't. And well, the future isn't looking all that well either. Overall, it's fun to a point. The three are really good together, solid chemistry, but again, the story sucks. I'm feeling a decent 2.5 stars on this. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.